This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, nerds. I'm Mark Weber, and you're listening to A Graphic Conversation, the bi-weekly podcast where we read, discuss, and review the best, and hopefully not the worst, graphic novels. I'm joined, as I always am, by my good friend and fellow man-child, Ricky Widmer.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And today, for this podcast, the one that we came back for, we read Deadpool.
We were on a little hiatus there. I don't mean to
Kills
cut
the
you off.
Marvel Universe.
Cut you off in a little
People are going to be
awkward
really
spot.
upset. Deadpool what? Deadpool what? Yeah,
We took a little bit of a hiatus. I mean,
Yeah, we got a little busy.
Real life. Shit got real, Mark.
Yeah,
It
now
got
we're
real.
now we're here. We brought it back, better than ever. Some would say.
2015. I mean, 2 months into 2015, but we're here.
Yeah, we showed up. Well, 3 months.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying we're already 2 months have already passed of
Yeah.
the new year.
So we read Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Interesting story, because, I mean, when I looked at this title, it kind of intrigued me, because could I see Deadpool being the character to kill people? Yes, I could.
Could Deadpool kill people? I think he could.
But usually he's just the guy that's like, you know what, I could kill you, but I'd rather make jokes about you instead.
Yeah, he's definitely. When you see the title "Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe," you kind of go, "Yeah, I see it. You're right." Like there's just a moment where you're like, "Yeah, I buy it." If you say like Wolverine kills the Marvel Universe, people go, "No, he's not gonna kill the Marvel Universe." Deadpool, you go, "Oh yeah, I'm there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm right with you for sure." But this one, I will give right now. I'm gonna give a little description here. This is the actual back of the book description for this one, in case you have not read it. And you're curious, you're thinking, this sounds interesting. Let me tell you about this. What if everything you thought was funny about Deadpool was actually just disturbing? What if he decided to kill everyone and everything that makes up the Marvel Universe? And what if he actually pulled it off? Would that be fun for you? The Merc with a Mouth takes a turn for the twisted as he puts every Marvel hero in the crosshairs in a horror comic like none other.
Well, and that's the thing, like, when you think of Deadpool as a character, he's kind of messed up in the head. He's got himself. He's got another voice that's like this sophisticated, like, do the right thing kind of, like, an actual smart mind in his head that kind of, I know in the Marvel, or the Deadpool video game, and sometimes for, like, comics and stuff, it's
That
usually,
most people would probably like to forget about the video game.
It's usually depicted as, like, kind of a snobby Englishman, kind of a voice. And then he's got this goofy, like, kind of like, who's the dumb hyena from The Lion King?
Oh, I couldn't give you a name, but that's enough. I know what you're talking about.
That's the kind of voice that the other one uses. Just a silly goofball, like, hey, how's that? And he's got himself and those two voices in his head. And, I mean, after reading this, you kind of think, and coming into this, you think, you know what? What if he did snap?
Well, you know, and I think this one also, just so you know, before I get into this, I'm going to say we're going to have, the way this podcast works, if you've never listened to it before, we have this spoiler-free section that we're in right now.
First off, welcome if this is your first one.
Welcome. And then after that, we're going to get into spoiler mode. Don't worry, we will warn you in case you decide, yes, I want to read this. So then way you can stop, you can read, and you can come back. This is super fast. You can read this thing in like 40 minutes. No problem at all.
It was not a...
It's only like 4
It wasn't
issues.
a long read at all.
So yeah, no problem. But, and I like that you're talking about the voices. This one kind of poses the question of, hey, maybe there's another voice in there that he's kind of been ignoring this whole time.
Well, it kind of... I don't know if he was ignoring it on purpose or just kind of like his subconscious kind of blocking that voice out, an eviler voice saying, let's kill.
Yeah.
This is what needs to be done.
Deadpool, you know, it'd be fun. Let's kill that guy. Let's kill all of those guys. Yes, I mean, this one's super fun. The most important question of the night, though, Ricky. Some would say it's our actual review, but I would say it's this question here. Who is this for? Ricky, Who's it for?
Very, 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 very mature Marvel fans. That's what this is for.
Who's it not for?
Kids.
Read the cover.
Kids.
The cover literally says not for kids.
It says parental. It's one of the first. I think it's the first graphic novel we've read for this podcast that on the cover it said parental advisory exclamation, not underlined for kids exclamation.
And it's not even like there were boobs in it or anything.
No.
Although Mary Jane's boobs tried to make an appearance.
Yeah,
but not
they
quite.
tried, but it's more because of the just gore.
Yeah, this was pretty
blood.
intense.
Like an example of, and I don't know if this enters into spoiler.
This is a Ricky moment here.
It's not spoiler mode because coming into this, you should know like what's going to happen
People
to
are
the
dying.
Marvel heroes. But like for example, when Sue Storm from the Fantastic Four, how he finds her when she's invisible is he kills Johnny Storm and his blood splatters onto her.
Yeah. We're gonna keep that discussion for later because that is a little spoilery.
I didn't want to get so spoilery, but
it was a little spoilery.
It was just an example.
It's
blood.
a little spoilery.
There's a lot of blood in this.
There's a lot of blood.
ton
It's
of blood.
everywhere. There's also a lot of brains, eyes, things flying everywhere. But okay, so I definitely agree with you. Not for kids. I actually would go so far to say though, when it comes to Deadpool, if you've never read Deadpool before, I think you can read this, and I think you can enjoy it. I don't think you get as much enjoyment out of it if you've never read Deadpool before.
Yeah, you'll get way more of an enjoyment out of it if, like, for me, the reason why I liked it so much is Deadpool's always been a interesting character to me. He's kind of like, take the attitude of Spider-Man with the I don't care attitude. Like, I will do whatever I want. Usually he's been, like I think I said earlier, he's usually been that funny character, the comic relief. Usually, like, when he was in an episode of The Ultimate Spider-Man, his episode was all about comedy. He was actually voiced by the guy who did Eric from Boy Meets World. Can't remember the actor's name, but that's who the voice was. So, right there, you kind of know what kind of a character they're going with Deadpool. Just that silly, funny, gonna say stupid stuff and make you laugh.
I want to take an aside real quick just to say, when we talk about voice actors, how fun would it be if Deadpool at one point, it would make no sense, but if he was voiced by Gilbert Godfrey. That's his name, right?
You're talking, yeah. You're talking about Iago from Aladdin?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be funny?
No.
I don't want it, but it would be funny.
That would not be funny.
He's already good. He already goes on YouTube and voice acts, or not voice act, but reads various things.
In my
Why not
head,
Deadpool?
I was like, Ricky, you need to do a Gilbert Godfrey impression right now.
And you decided it'd be better
But then
not
I was
to.
like, it'd be better not to because it's not going to sound like him.
But okay, I will say, yeah, I definitely don't think, because I mean, for me, I've only read a few Deadpool things. I've never been a big Deadpool fan, and I'll kind of get into that later. I don't have anything against Deadpool, but I have one thing that I always think about with Deadpool. I'll get into it later.
Okay.
But
you're teasing me.
I am
teasing me,
I'm
Mark.
leaving that a little bit, leaving you hanging. But for me, so I haven't read too much. So there's things like I understand what's going on with Deadpool and other stuff, and I understand a lot of the backstory and stuff like that. But it was always like, I feel like I would appreciate this story more if I had a better connection with Deadpool personally. Because for me, it's just like, yeah, you're Deadpool and it's fine. You're funny. This is my reaction to him.
And that's the thing. I mean, you don't have to have that, oh, Deadpool's my favorite character kind of thing to enjoy this. But if you have that connection to Deadpool, you understand what... I mean, it's kind of an oxymoron to say, like, if you understand what's going on in his head, because virtually no one is supposed to know what's going on in Deadpool's head.
And that actually raised a question for me that's going to be for spoiler mode, too. About what is going on in his head, or what isn't going on in his head.
One of the things, though, that I've always liked about Deadpool, and usually animators, comic writers, they've usually used this, the video game developers that made that terrible video game that I mentioned before, the Deadpool video game. Don't know
and
why.
And you were convinced it was going to be good.
Don't know why I wasted my money on it.
I kept trying to tell you it's not going to be good.
It was funny, but it was more like this is stupid, but it's funny. But it's so stupid, and the game isn't even worth it. But that's not the point. Deadpool's a character where he breaks the fourth wall. He knows, like the video game, he knows you're playing the video game. The whole point of the story was he wanted to make a video game about him to make money.
Yeah.
So he knows you're playing the video game. In the comics,
Which is
he
ironic
knows you're reading the
because
comic.
I don't think that video game made much money.
No, it didn't. But that's the one thing about Deadpool. He breaks the fourth wall. He's the only Marvel character that breaks the fourth wall.
I also think if you're someone who doesn't read Marvel very much, like I said, still gonna enjoy this. Your big hitters are there, mostly. But there's a lot of... they're pulling a lot of B Squad out of here.
No, your heavy hitters are there. Captain America, Iron Man.
But I think the problem is
Thor, Spider-Man,
those guys are there.
Punisher.
And one of my... Punisher, yes. But Punisher, I'd say, is B Squad.
No, I'd say he's on the cusp of being an upper echelon. People like the Punisher.
I don't know. I don't know about that 100%. I think Punisher's awesome.
Would you say Daredevil's a B Squatter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely would. And I put Punisher and Daredevil in pretty much the same.
Really?
I put them about the same.
No, okay, I can see. I would almost put Punisher maybe in the A cusp.
So I think like a lot of those kind of A-listers come and go really quick. And let's remember, this is called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, and it's 4 issues. They're gonna fly through stuff.
Would you count Fantastic Four as A-listers?
Oh yeah, they're A-list for sure. Yeah, but all your like your Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, they all go pretty quick. And so do the B-listers too. But I feel like there's a lot of time spent on the B-list type of people, where you're sitting there and you're like, huh, who is this one? Whose villain is this? Like, you're kind of, if you don't know Marvel, you're probably going to miss out on some of it. Not that it matters too much, because all you really need to know is heroes, villains.
To me, though, I didn't find, maybe it's because most of the people in here, I've spent so much time reading, watching.
For sure.
Just listening to people talk about Marvel that I know mostly, like, the characters. If I don't know everyone, I can figure it out. But I think the more about this story isn't about who he's killing.
Yeah.
It's about what's going on with Deadpool
For
himself.
sure, which is why I think you'll definitely enjoy it no matter what. I think you just get more out of it the harder into this stuff you are, and the more knowledgeable you are about a lot of this stuff. You'll get a little bit more. Ricky, real quick though, anything else that we need to talk about before we get into spoiler mode?
Not really.
All right, so that does it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the point where if you have not read it and you want to read it, hit that pause button, come back. We will still be here for you. If you don't care or you already have read it, you're one of those good people that we like very, very much, then, hey, we're here. Let's get this going. Ricky, real quick, spoiler mode. All right, Fantastic Four. Let's talk about them.
Okay. They're basically issue 1.
They're the very beginning, yeah, for sure. I love it. Well, first of all, of course, we deal with the Watcher, which you know my opinion on these characters. I hate these characters.
What, the Watcher?
I hate Watcher, people who watch. I hate people who can tell the future.
See, but
I don't like them.
I liked him in this.
I like him because he dies.
Well, I liked him in this sense because you needed somebody to start the storytelling.
I feel like it could have been Deadpool, though.
And it could have been. But I like it being the Watcher because it's kind of one of those things where the Watcher, I think we experienced it in Civil War where I want to say it was the Punisher. No, it was Luke Cage was like, well, what's this guy doing here? Why can't he help? And the Watcher's like, I'm just here to observe.
Just hanging out, bud.
I'm just here to observe.
My life is boring as hell.
As you can, he's like, I'm watching and he's talking about dual realities. And in the end, Deadpool's like, yeah, you're not safe either, bud.
Which, that I love. I love well, it's not even in the it comes pretty quick where Deadpool goes, hey, what's up? I'm here. You're dead.
Yeah.
And I love his reaction of, I didn't do anything to interfere.
Yeah, nobody is safe.
Yeah.
That was the proof. But with the Fantastic Four, you jump in, Reed Richards already dying, Sue Storm.
And you got the stones all over the place. And I didn't realize at first. I didn't realize that and then I was like, oh... we're in the midst of death.
That's Ben.
Yeah, like we're already dead. It's already torn apart. Deadpool's already here. He's already won one battle so far. I love it.
And I mean, he's already taken down Johnny Storm, like I said. And my favorite scene, one of them in here, is when Sue's kind of doing that invisible thing, watching her brother die, and right as Deadpool slits his throat, blood splats right on her face, and he just kind of goes, hey, look at that. There you are. She tries to pop his head, which she does, but then she makes the cardinal sin that everyone makes in this graphic novel of oh, phew, he's dead.
And it makes you go, no, stop it. Stop it.
Right when she turns around, Deadpool, sword through the back.
Yeah,
you're dead.
Every time you're just like, he's Deadpool, please. You know Deadpool. You know he's coming back. And then he does. I love, though, you say you love that.
I'm going to sound like a basketball announcer here. You got to read the scouting report, especially when you're going up against Deadpool. You got to read the scouting report.
I'll forgive her because it's the very beginning. And she wasn't. She probably wasn't completely. But the Fantastic Four are known for being smart.
How many times have they dealt with Deadpool or maybe Reed Richards? Oh, knock knock, ding ding along. That's your husband.
Yeah,
would have been like, oh yeah, he can do that, or would have known that.
He doesn't die. He's immortal. I love though. This is one of my favorite things that's said in the whole book. This is Reed talking to his wife. And he's talking about their children. And he says,
I was going to bring that up.
They're gone, Sue. He can't get to them. I sent them into the negative zone where he couldn't touch them. But the portal, destroyed. Can't get them back. That's just
that hit me a little bit.
Right there. You know,
that hit me a little bit.
From the very start. This is probably the most emotional moment of the whole thing. It's right at the beginning. They're saying, hey.
The feels.
Families torn apart. Loved ones gone. Everybody dies.
Well, it's one of those things where...
Also, you're wrong. He can get them he can't get to them when they're in the negative zone because he destroys the whole universe. Everybody's dead.
So the kids are dead?
The negative zone's gone. He destroyed the entire Marvel universe.
That's right.
Everything's gone. Spoilers. Everything's gone.
Oh, that just makes me so much sadder. And you just crushed.
Yeah, the kids are dead.
Oh,
everyone's dead.
But I mean, see, my favorite moment doesn't even happen until we get to, I believe it was. After the Fantastic Four, the next hero he killed, the first major one. I mean, if we're besides the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
To me, I saw that and it's like, yes, this is what I was waiting for. Deadpool versus Spider-Man, Merc with a mouth versus the superhero with a mouth.
Yeah.
Because that's basically, and Spider-Man even says my favorite quote where it's like, hey, you know you stole the whole Merc with a mouth thing from me, right?
Man, you're ripping off my style, Deadpool. Come on. This is my thing. You took off my thing. And they even look similar. Yeah, I do think it is important, though, to mention, of course, that, which this one throws me off here, all right? The X-Men give Deadpool away. They give him to a mental institution, essentially, where Psycho Man is the doctor, essentially. We find that out right away, and you're like, oh, this is ending badly. And I actually was convinced at first, where I was like, because basically Psycho Man wants to use these super villains as his army to take over. And for a second, I was like, oh, that's why Deadpool's doing it. I actually bought in. I thought that's why Deadpool was killing the Marvel Universe. No. This just happens to be the moment where he snaps.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. This is where he realizes, like, why are we put through all this pain and suffering for what? He knows that the fourth wall is there. He sees it.
See, and this is the thing. I don't know if it's him. I think it's this whole time we've been experienced to Deadpool's two sides, his two voices. Well, like we mentioned earlier, what if there was a third? In here there is.
Yeah.
A more diabolical third. A third voice that's like, hey, you know what? Let's just kill everybody. Let's just look out for ourselves. And one of the moments where I love this moment, it goes back to the Spider-Man moment, where you kind of see Deadpool's funny side, but you finally see this, like, okay, he's serious, where he says a kind of one-liner at Spider-Man, how he's going to cut him from, I think he said from, like, toe to head. And Spider-Man's like, hey, you know what? This whole slicing and dicing thing, it's not working. So you can cut the whole gut in me routine, okay? And Deadpool just looks at him and goes, he says, you're right. I'm not going to cut you. And then you just, in the next scene, just see a gun right under Spider-Man's chin. Boom, there goes your head.
And I love that his line after that, something along the lines of, like, maybe those other guys those other psychos should have tried a gun. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man no more, huh? You know what all those better psychopaths you were bragging about should have tried? A gun.
And then I love that moment, too, because it's a very, very much because, of course, this is playing off the comic cliches and stuff like that.
The comic code.
Yeah, of, like, nobody kills anybody, and this is Deadpool going, so many times, Spider-Man, you should have been dead. Maybe someone should have just shot you.
And I mean, right after that, you finally, I believe it was the first time we saw this more diabolical voice where Deadpool's kind of talking to himself, and he's like, "Yay, that was fun, but who's next?" And the voice inside's like, "It doesn't matter. They all need to die."
Yeah.
And then you have the Deadpool part where he goes, "It matters. It matters who's next."
Yeah.
And that kind of shows this new voice, this third voice, he just wants everyone dead. But like you were talking about where Deadpool just snaps, this is like Deadpool himself going, it matters. The pecking order's in place. Who's next on the pecking order?
And I like even before that when he kills all the supervillains that are in that prison, in the mental institution prison, basically.
You said villains?
I think those were all the villains that were.
Yeah, they were villains.
Yeah.
I thought I heard you say heroes.
No, they're the villains.
Yeah.
But I do like when Deadpool's asking actually what happened to the other voices, and the main voice now says, "Don't worry about them. You don't need them anymore." And Deadpool just goes, "Oh yeah, all right, cool." Like he's just down with it. I mean, for sure, he's completely buying in. He did completely snap. He's like, "Yeah, I don't need those other voices. That this is my mission. This is what I'm going to do."
Well, and another quote, and I feel like we're getting quotey, but I don't care because that's what this. I feel like that's what this one is. That third voice says an interesting quote when he just says, "Spectacle is what they want. You don't have to play their game anymore." Where he's talking about that fourth wall. He's talking about the writers. He's talking about the fans, where it's like the readers want a spectacle. They want what you just did with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But they want Spider-Man to win. You don't have to play that game anymore. We're just going to kill them all. Just do it easy. Keep it simple.
Exactly. And I like that, too, because what was one of my main complaints I said about this? I thought it went too fast. I understand they had 4 issues to tell this huge story where he kills the entire Marvel
That's
universe.
another reason why it could have went so fast.
Yeah, like the theme is we're not giving you the spectacle. We're not going to give you every single fight that you want. You don't get to see him against Captain America, him against Iron Man, him against Thor as much as you might want to see. But we saw
Thor, like...
That's what I'm saying, as much as you might
want to see
it.
I would have liked to see maybe him against Iron Man more than Thor.
I would like to see, like, the legit fight. Like, let's see the fight. It's like the, it's the Batman versus Deadpool battle.
Like Bat in the Sun. Their YouTube channel, how they do that.
Like, I like that. And that's kind of what you think of. Like, that's what you really want to see when you're reading them. Like, you want to see all these epic battles where Deadpool struggles and he kills every single one of these kids. Because, really, Deadpool's just a better character, fighting-wise, than everybody else. Because he can't die. The one character that really does get close, as much as they want it to be, what's his name? Taskmaster or whatever. It's really Wolverine.
Yeah.
Which Wolverine gets towards the end, but he's not the last guy like you'd probably expect. But yeah, I like that because I mean I would have loved to see that, but at the same time, I really respect what they did of like we have 4 issues, we're flying through this stuff, we're just gonna let him kill everybody. You're not gonna see everything you want to see, but guess what? That's part of it. That's part of
I feel like
story.
if Deadpool didn't have this third voice, it would have been a spectacle. Because realistically, Deadpool is all about the spectacle.
Yeah.
He wants to put on a show, and while he's doing it, he's kind of looking at the crowd, pointing his fingers, laughing around. He's kind of like the show-off basketball player, where like they shoot a 3, and then they're doing the shoot-'em gun to the crowd, kind of racing the roof as they go back on defense. But this third voice he's like, we don't need that. But
this time there's a lot of blood in this.
We don't need that. We just need to get right through it. They just need to die. That is the point of the story.
Yeah. And I think that's actually a very, very important narrative that they put in there. The writers who did a fantastic job with this, because that is needed, because otherwise you sit there. If that's not said, and that's something that a lot of people are going to glance over, they're not going to catch it. But if that is not said, you sit there and you go, he didn't fight Captain America. He didn't fight Iron Man. He just blew him up. Why didn't he fight them? I want to see him go against the heavy hitters, but he doesn't. And that's cool. And even like, you have my skin is unbreakable. Yeah, well, you drank that coffee that had a lot of microbombs in it, and then he dies.
Or like, and I was just going to say, it's kind of creative how he kills some characters. Like Cyclops, yeah, let's hit him with a thing that encases his head,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, he's gonna try to blow it off with his laser beams, but boom, it blows up his head and everyone around him.
Yeah, easy, super easy. Which I like that you bring up the Well, I guess let's go a little chronological before we get to Xavier. Xavier, Professor X. He kills, of course, Thor by making Thor's hammer huge and just crushing Thor.
Yeah.
Super easy. He kills the Hulk by letting Hulk think he beat Deadpool.
Again,
Cardinal
a
sin.
classic narrative of this is like, I mean, the Hulk, I can give him a piece of like, I can cut him
the
some
Hulk's a big
slack
dummy.
because he's the Hulk and he's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
like,
say it more
all right.
harshly than you. He's stupid.
He's like,
Hulk,
mission accomplished.
Hulk be killing now.
And
Hulk go to sleepy
I like
by
the
now.
you killed Hulk's enemy. Only Hulk kills Hulk's enemies.
Only Hulk kills Hulk.
And it's like, yeah, you don't really kill your enemies that much. But and then he just goes, "Oh, you're Bruce Banner now." Head gone, cut
sliced.
off. Then we have the ladies of the comic book world come into this. That's when Aunt May and Mary Jane, they come together with all the girlfriends and all the wives and the friends, and because there's a guy in there too.
And they hired the Taskmaster.
Master. I just think Taskmaster is such a funny name because it makes me think of the Task Manager. Mm-hmm. And I just think of it like my computer. Open up Task Manager. Everything fears the Task Manager. Everything won't shut down. Task Manager. Oh, yes, please. I'll close now.
But to me, he's the most interesting... One of the most, I'm not going to say the most, one of the most interesting Marvel villains.
He's very interesting for sure.
Because if you're a superhero going up against him, after he fights you for a little bit, he learns your moves. Okay, now he knows what you're going to do. How are you going to beat him? It's like, it's a mind game when you take on the Taskmaster.
Yeah, and that's something that comes
and
into effect later.
They were hoping that would be enough to kill Deadpool. And I kind of find it interesting that Aunt May would go so far to say, here you go. Here's everything we got. Kill the bastard.
Yeah, and the interesting, I think, what happens if he succeeded, where like all the superheroes are dead?
He would take
and then
he
it's
would
just
take control of the world.
Yeah, he would just be like, they were so willing just to get revenge.
Yeah.
That they were like, hey, the world is yours, man. You can have it.
Yep.
Just kill Deadpool.
I will say, though, there is one superhero in this entire book that Deadpool doesn't kill.
Until he kills the universe. Until he destroys the universe.
Well,
she dies at the end. Everybody dies at the end.
We're before that. I'm saying before that, he doesn't kill one hero. Do you remember who it is?
Kitty Pryde.
No.
Didn't he not kill Kitty Pryde?
It was Jean Grey.
Oh, Jean Grey did.
He had her in the prism where, like, it was basically like a hall of mirrors, and he just goes, you know what? Endless, I think he said, like, endless...
it's an endless maze or something like that.
Good enough.
Yeah. Where she was stuck. I don't really understand how it works, but it works.
Yeah. Because it's Deadpool. Whatever.
It worked. That's fine with me.
That's all I care about.
You know who I wish he would have killed? Just because I do love my X-Men. I wish he would have killed Magneto.
He did.
I don't remember. When did he kill Magneto? I don't remember.
He had it was the part where he goes, let's hope what's left of your X-Men prove to be more entertaining. Let's see what we have here. One master of magnetism done in by jelly. Well, jellified acid. Anyhow.
I do remember that now. Because he showed the mask.
And it's kind of like the mask with the skull inside.
Yeah. So, two things here for this. All right. These two big things that come into my mind with the X-Men. First of all, Xavier, come on, man. Let's give him his wheelchair. Why is he walking? That's not cool. I do not accept Professor X walking at any time unless it's the First Class movie in Days of Future Past.
Was he walking?
Yeah, he walked into the hospital earlier, and he's in a folding chair instead of his wheelchair. Not cool. I'm not cool with that. Writers, you can do whatever you want in Marvel, but I am not cool with it.
I'm going to go back to the mental hospital.
Go back to the very beginning. He walks in. He walks right in.
Yes, he does. You're right.
He is walking, and when he first walked, I was like, that can't be Professor X. They can't let him walk. You can never let him walk. He's in a wheelchair. Personal gripe. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's other stuff where he actually walks, but I'm not cool with it. I want him in his wheelchair.
Yeah, you like the wheelchair.
But then number two, this actually brings me a question here. I don't remember exactly what the line is. I could find exactly what it is, but it's not too big of a deal. So actually, I do see it right now. When he's asking Professor X, read my mind to try and connect with me, try and get in here, and it's basically he's asking him like, you're gonna see the truth here, or like, do you not see anything? And he says the word brain death, and that basically was like, when he did this, it killed Xavier. Does he die because he saw the truth? Like, he saw that, oh shit, he's right. There is this whole other world out there that's really controlling us. Is that why he dies? Or did it have something else? Because when I first read it, I was unsure. And I first read it and I thought, like, he got into his mind and realized, shit, he's brain dead. There's nothing there. That's what I thought at first. And then the other one was no, he realized that Deadpool's telling the truth. There's all this stuff out there, and that just fries his mind. He can't handle it.
I don't feel the phrase brain death doesn't deal with Deadpool. That is how Xavier died.
That's kind of what I got the second time, but I thought it also would have been interesting if he got in there. He died by brain
death, and I mean, from what I got from it was...
his brain got killed dead.
It's because exactly what you said. In Deadpool's head, it's just... his voice is just sitting there. Nothing's going on. Tumbleweeds going around. And there's no sophistication in Deadpool's head. That's how I've always saw it. Where he's just the merc with a mouth. He's a funny guy. He's going crazy off of here. He, like in the video games, likes to have really enlarged female breasts. And everything's funny to him. Where... Xavier, maybe this new voice, this new personality, when Xavier got in, that guy was able to get into Xavier's head and was like, hey, this is the truth. I'm going to kill you. And boom, that guy killed him.
Yeah. Which is, it's interesting. It's not 100%.
And it's never explained.
Yeah. Because he does say, oh.
Or vegetized.
I never realized. And that's like he never realized that there's all this other stuff. Like, it's not completely explained, and then it's just, that's it. He's done. Like, he just died. He gave up. I don't know.
And it says, like Deadpool said, brain death. The truth will set you free, huh? Or vegetized. Like,
or you're
he's
dead.
A vegetable.
You're dead now. There's no more of you. Yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting. Then, of course, Wolverine comes back to fight again, and I love the way he deals with Wolverine.
As the hunter?
Yeah. But I mean, he obviously cuts off the head of Wolverine. That's important. But he puts him in this chamber that he basically explains is like, hey, every time you regenerate, flamethrower to death. And that's just going to be your life now.
Yeah.
That sucks, doesn't it? Have fun. Like, oh, God, that's painful. That's the way it is, though. It's like, one thing I really do like, I know a lot of people have problems with with some of the X-Men movies and with the X2.
Yeah,
X-Men United. They have a problem with the chick with the nails, the adamantium nails. But I liked how they killed her in that. Well, they shoved the adamantium in there and then just let her sink because she will regenerate and she's just gonna drown for the rest of her life. God, is that painful? Just painful to think about that her life now is drowning to death. Fortunately for Wolverine, he only has to live a little bit longer of flamethrower to death before the whole universe gets destroyed, and it's no problem. Fortunately for him, it's not too often that's a benefit.
What, that you live,
flamethrower to death and then the universe gets destroyed. The universe being destroyed is not too much of a benefit unless you're being flamethrower to death every day.
I got a question. This is jumping further. We're gonna go past the Punisher. Maybe go back to the Punisher if you want to. This is a question that because I was just flipping through it. The Taskmaster meets his end in the only epic fight that we get of the entire thing.
Slightly epic. It was quick.
He dies because of crap, what's the guy called? The kind of the swamp monster dude.
Tree man.
And
he looked like a giant tree.
He only dies because he burns his head. If that guy doesn't come to help Deadpool, do you think Taskmaster...
The thing was that he was learning from Deadpool. He was going into his head. He was doing the same thing as Xavier. He was learning the truth, is what I thought was. And then that truth put fear in him. And that's why he said the line about, the fear is the ignition or whatever the hell. The fear is why he then went up and set him on fire. So Deadpool knew. That's why Deadpool brought him to that spot.
What I was going to say, though, is, let's say, for what you said then, let's say they're not fighting in that spot. They're fighting in a different spot. If Taskmaster, the new character, comes in, doesn't kill him, does Taskmaster defeat Deadpool? Would he have defeated him? You can't
defeat Deadpool, though. Deadpool's immortal.
Would it have been an endless fight then?
Unless they got to that point, I don't see any way why it was really why it wouldn't be an endless fight.
Or you're assuming Deadpool would get the upper hand sooner or later.
Eventually he has to win. But it would be a long time. This was the way to just make it quick, I guess. Which this leads me to my big important question with Deadpool and my biggest issue with Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
And part of this is just my, I don't really sway one way between DC or Marvel. I will say I typically have a little bit more. I'm a DC guy. I'm a little bit more DC, but there's some things I really like about Marvel. There's also some things about Marvel that I'm not a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
One of these things is Deadpool. Don't get me wrong, Deadpool is awesome on his own. But that's the thing. He should be on his own. When he exists in the Marvel Universe, he is a flaw to the Marvel Universe. Because nothing is of any danger to Marvel anymore. Because he exists. No matter what,
well, it's kind of like
can come in there. He
cannot
thrown out
die. The Superman argument, because Superman's overpowered in your mind.
Oh, Superman is super overpowered most of the time.
Except for when you have kryptonite.
Yeah, most of the time he's... It's the kind of thing when, I think it's Silver Age that made him into a god.
Who, Superman?
Yeah, the whole Silver Age of comics made Superman into a god. And that's why most people think about Superman flying around the sun and changing time.
And cool. And I'm going to throw this out there. Mm-hmm. That is why, and this is going to go rant away from this comic, and then we're going to come right back to it. Mm-hmm. That's why Batman's one of my favorite superheroes, because you can watch Justice League Doom for the exact reasoning behind this and the whole story. Has a contingency plan about every superhero. Keeps in his utility belt, hey, I got a little piece of kryptonite in case you get out of line. Bam, there you go.
Yeah, but if Superman knew about that, he could easily stop that.
He does.
In advance.
Batman has told Superman about the kryptonite
see, the thing is,
ring.
Superman's a little bit too nice. You know, he's not going to really go and be like, laser beam, the kryptonite's gone, we're good.
Because Superman knows if anything were to happen and he got brainwashed somehow, like there's those squid things that, like, the starfish
we
things.
Love the squids. We love the squids.
They attach to the face.
Those guys are great.
They were in Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm. They were in one of the ones that we read, too.
If one of those happened, bam, Batman has a contingency plan.
Yep. Wasn't that also...
It was JLA.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm trying to think of it now.
It's a JLA comic we read.
God, that was a good one. But here's the thing. When it comes to Deadpool, though, I feel like Deadpool is different than Superman in a case because Deadpool doesn't have those self-imposed limits. Like Deadpool in this situation, like this is a situation where, I mean, sure, Superman Red Sun exists.
There's no kryptonite ring.
Yeah. I mean, like Superman Red Sun does exist where Superman takes over the world. But all you have to do is say, why don't you put the world in a bottle? Like you did one line and you solve everything.
Well, you know, Mark, in Soviet Russia, Superman don't take over world take over him.
I disagree with that, but I appreciate the joke.
In Soviet Russia.
But for Deadpool, like all it takes is Deadpool to go, yeah, I'm going to kill everybody. And he can. He can kill everybody. And that's every villain, every hero.
And that is what we have here with Deadpool.
But here's my thing of why I think Deadpool is bad to the Marvel Universe. Because he is way too overpowered. You have Greek... is Thor Greek? No, Norse god.
Yeah.
He's a Norse god that gets killed by Deadpool. That's not cool. Like, first of all, there shouldn't be gods. I mean, I know all superheroes are gods, but that's too much. Deadpool kind of
used Ant-Man's helmet to enlarge the hammer.
But still, it's ridiculous that this could exist. Like, he just goes, I know exactly how to kill this guy. I know how to kill this god. Like, he can just kill anybody. If the entire Asgardian fleet comes into Earth, Deadpool would have killed all of them because he can't die. He is immortal. There's no way around it. He will always win. He is the trump card. That's why.
Well, there's only one way to... The only way to defeat him is the same thing we did with Wolverine.
Yeah.
is to
That's
have
why
him,
he even said, like, this is what I would have done against myself.
to have him
Yeah.
tied up and just flamethrower.
This
You're
is-
coming back? Flamethrower.
This is why I think Deadpool would be so much better in his own world. Don't get me wrong. I love his interactions with people. I love him with the X-Men. I love him with
No,
Spider-Man. It's
see,
all fun. But
I'm gonna
he should be in his own world.
I'm going to disagree with that. The main
Mm-hmm.
reason why this one excluded, because like we said, this is the comic where he just snapped.
Yeah, this is its own thing. This is
But-
no consistency.
Deadpool
Or no
need-
continuity.
Deadpool needs the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why you read Deadpool comics isn't for Deadpool. It's for his interaction with other heroes.
Because, yeah, he's poking fun at.
Yeah,
That's the whole thing with him.
He plays off of other characters,
But I
and
think you
that's
could
what you
do-
read it for. That's what you watch it for.
I think you could do that just fine. And you haven't read Invincible yet.
No, that's coming up,
Spoiler
though.
alert, we're going to do Invincible.
That's coming up.
But Invincible does the same thing where they poke fun at
End
the
of,
comic book
end of
world.
March, I believe. End of March.
Something like that. They poke fun at the comic book world by basically making a guy, for example, who looks like Batman and acts
Yeah.
like Batman, and then they make fun of it. Like, things like that
Yeah.
work. I think you could do the exact same thing with Deadpool. I think it'd be more of... And it's, like I said, Deadpool, I have no problems with Deadpool. I just think that he's like the trump card, which Marvel has too many of these things, I think. It's my complaint with
What,
the
the
Marvel
trump
movies.
cards?
There's too many trump cards in Marvel. It's my complaint with the Marvel movies. All right, Iron Man 3, there's this big thing. Oh, New York City's going to get destroyed. Where the fuck is Thor? Thor comes in, boom, saves the day. Captain America comes in, saves the day. Like, where are all the people that can come and just solve it? They could just
Yeah.
solve it. Deadpool can solve any
We're
issue
like,
at any time.
and you're saying like if we're reading an Iron Man comic and it's like, well, Thor's not in this one, but boom, call up your buddy Thor. He saves the
All you
day.
gotta do is call him up.
Yeah.
All you gotta do
You
is
have the Avengers on speed dial.
you just throw out that cash, make it rain. Deadpool shows up, and boom.
I'm like, I
Deadpool
don't know.
solves
I'm like, I don't know if
Work with the mouth.
if Thor would need much use for the Benjamins.
Yeah, well, yeah, Thor's a little busy.
I don't
being
know.
a Greek god or Norse god.
Is there an exchange for U.S. dollars
I'm sure there's
to
an
Norse
exchange. I'm sure
currency?
there's some kind of exchange rate.
Do the Norse have currency?
It's probably locks of blonde golden hair, and that's why Loki's so upset because he's poor. He needs that blonde hair. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. That's just my little thing about Deadpool. That's just
What
my
about-
thing about Deadpool.
What about the very end where he finally gets to what is quote unquote our universe?
The end.
And he's kind of like watching the writers, right? And to me, that's my favorite scene because at first you see the
just
butt
like,
crack,
yeah, I was gonna say you like the butt crack.
and then you've got like the banter of it's like, okay, yeah, then draw him, but wait, don't make me look so fat. Don't make me look so fat, and put some more hair on me.
Make sure I
stuff
look
like that.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting too that Deadpool talks. I like calling it Tree Monster because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
He's talking to Tree Monster, and he's like, "Hey, I need your help, bud. The portal, it's in you. You wanna kill yourself and open it up for me?" And Tree Monster goes, "All right." Just willingly, he's like, "Yep, I'm down with this, man. I guess Tree Monster's the only other person that knows about this portal to our universe. But he does. He goes in.
And the
kills
cool
everybody.
thing is, before that, you see like alternate universes, and you see like what the Punisher would look like with a Deadpool mask.
Yeah.
Captain America is Deadpool. Xavier is Deadpool, and like Norse god Deadpool.
Yep.
I always like seeing those because it's like, oh, what if there was a universe of all Deadpools?
What if everybody was just Deadpool?
And that's what goes on. I feel like a little bit in Deadpool's
In his
mind.
head? Yeah. That's what's gonna go on now.
Everyone's Deadpool.
Well, now we get to the after effect of what happens once he gets into our universe because he kills everybody, but he's real now. Like he's a real thing that happens now. So he's gonna write his own comic world where everybody is Deadpool now, and now we have that.
Well, and at
The
the
end.
very end, he just says, he's like,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to get through these jokers.
I'll be
I'll
back for
find you.
Yeah, I'll be coming for you, and I'm like, yes. That's the moment where you go, look behind your back.
Yeah, I did when I
Oh, is he
finished
there?
reading it.
He's
I
not.
did.
All right, thank you.
But I'm going to ask you, usually you ask this question, I'm going to pose it to you. What's your rating? Out of 5. 5-star rating.
Yeah, we do the 5-star rating for this one for all the ones that we do. I have trouble with this one, Ricky. I do. I don't think it's perfect. I think it did exactly what it set out to do, and I think it did an extremely good job with that. I think there's some things that could have made it better. But I don't. I feel like that's I would
Get to the point,
I
Marky
would have
boy.
loved to have the big battles.
Get to the point, Marky
but
boy.
let me talk.
Okay.
I would have loved to have the battles. I would have loved to have the epic fights. That would be great. I would love to have all these big superhero moments because that's what reminds me of Civil War in a lot of ways. Of it's all your favorite people. They're all gonna fight. It's gonna be awesome. You get to see who would win. And this one we know who would win. But I would have loved to see that. But I feel like if me asking for that is selfish because that's not what this book is about.
No, that wasn't what it was about.
It's not what the book's about.
They weren't going to give you the spectacle.
They weren't
going to
give me what I
wanted.
wanted. Which I feel like I can't fault the book for that. If I could, I would give it a 4. But I'm going to bump it up to a 4.5 because I think that's an unfair complaint. 4.5.
Really? You're giving it a higher rating than I am?
I guess so. I think, now don't get me wrong, I haven't read too many Deadpool things, but I think this is the best Deadpool I've ever read. This is a great example of what Deadpool is, can be, and should be.
I'm giving it a solid 4. The reason being is in our ranking, to me, 5, 3 is like, okay, that was good. 2 was like, that was decent. 1 was god awful.
And 0 is
the peep shows.
Diarrhea.
The peep shows of the world are the ones. And 4
I
is
believe
like
you gave Peep Show a 0.
a negative. It's got to go negative.
Nothing.
The book fell apart on me, guys. The book fell apart in my hands. I get that the guy was like, the whole thing about him was cheap.
Yeah.
But come on.
It fell apart. It was rough.
To me, it's not a 5. It's not put it up there with the immaculate graphic novels. Like, I'm trying to think of ones that we've given 5s to.
Didn't we give
one of the
Guardians of
Morning
the Galaxy
Glories,
a 5?
Nah, not Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm talking about like, like the Hall of Fame of graphic
I'm pretty sure
novels.
we gave Hush a 5.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame of graphic novels. To me, this was a good story. It was a good read. It was a quick read. It did what it was supposed to do. It told the story it was supposed to. Solid 4. Solid 4 out of 5. That's still good. That's still good.
It's really good. It's the best Deadpool thing I've ever been a part of. That's for sure.
It was way better than the game. I'll tell you that. I bought the game.
I tried to tell you.
You tried to tell me not to. It was funny, but it wasn't that good.
Yeah, it's painful when you try and make game adaptations of things that probably shouldn't. Actually, I think a Deadpool game could be fantastic, but just no, it didn't work.
Not like that.
So, in case you guys are wondering, what are we gonna read next?
Oh,
well, let me tell you, Ricky's super excited.
I've already read it. That's why.
Y: The Last Man, Volume 1, Unmanned. A lot of mans involved in this. So let me just tell you guys a little bit of something about this. All right. So this is the saga, the beginning of the saga of Yorick Brown, the only human survivor of a planet-wide plague that instantly kills every mammal possessing a Y chromosome. Accompanied by a mysterious government agent, a brilliant young geneticist, and his pet monkey, Ampersand, Yorick travels the world in search of his lost love and the answer to why he's the last man on Earth. So this is going to be issues 1 through 5 of Y: The Last Man.
Does it really say the monkey's name in there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And that was one of the things I came in, and I've already read it. I was like, Mark, I'm giving you a spoiler. The monkey's name is Ampersand.
And
I thought that was great.
I love looking at this monkey.
I thought that was great.
Face. I like monkeys a lot. I really do. Huge fan of monkeys. Maybe my second favorite animal.
I'm going to say this.
Uh-huh.
This is my little tease about the next one we're doing. Because, like I said, I already read it. Not going to be a spoiler at all. It's very humorous. If you like humor with, like, the good story and everything.
Yeah.
But, like, really good humor. Like, not sophisticated, but,
if
like...
If you like to laugh. If you're not a human...
It's not
then
like...
you're going to enjoy it.
It's not silly, goofy humor. It's not really sophisticated humor. It's just... good old humor.
Well, the first quote by the Washington Post as a review is funny and scary. Is what they say. And it's like, all right, cool. I'm down. Those two combinations, I'm good. So, for those of you who don't know, go follow us on Twitter. You can follow us at Most Valuable Pod. You can go to mostvaluablepodcasts.com so you can see all the things that are going on every day for us. Also,
bookmark it.
Yep, bookmark that so you know every day. Because it does get updated just about every day.
Yep.
And you can all, of course, go back to later episodes because we did so many episodes of so many different graphic novels that some were amazing and some were not so amazing. So go back, check those ones out too. I am at the Mark Weber, that is 2 E's. Ricky is at Ricky Widmer. Follow us both. Let us know your opinions on not only Y the Last Man when we read that one, but on Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Until next time, guys, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast.